Hey everybody, how you doing? I hope you're well. Thank you for checking out my other live stream prior to this one on Facebook Meta. Mark Zuckerberg's renaming of his attempt to rebrand his corporate species. Um, eh, Something else that happened today was that the African American Sports Entertainment Group introduced Alana Beard, multi WNBA All-Star player, and now officially the owner of the planned WNBA Oakland franchise that really hundreds of people have had a hand in working on in one way or another to this point, except the mayor of Oakland. Yeah, my god sister, person I've known for over 30 years, whose behavior of late has been extremely disappointing. And if I had known that the mayor would morph into the person that she has decided to be to run the city of Oakland, I would not have made that recommendation. I'm sorry to say. Because this is about something bigger than her or me. It's about the city of Oakland and the mess that it's in while it's on her watch, which really saddens me. So rather than try and improve, she actually decides to double down and be more her and make it this whole issue about getting her face out there, and not in a good way. Rather than asked to be in the press conference for, and I don't know if she was invited or not. I would presume she was. I think it would be a mistake not to, but if you're mayor, you have somebody ask and say, hey, this is something the mayor should be involved in. Can we bring the mayor? That's what you do when you're running a city. And so to that end, last night, I texted the mayor about the press conference with a Zoom link, the Zoom link, okay? I did that because I believe the mayor should be there, but the Oakland that Mayor Schaaf insists on crafting picks sides with people over petty issues, whatever they are. And so at events where the entire city should be together, including council members, we see one council member, and that's Rebecca Kaplan. We don't see anyone else, and we don't see the mayor. Sure, everyone that pays attention to Oakland politics knows the mayor and the at-large council member have been at odds for reasons that I think are absolutely ridiculous, but they have been at odds. But at some point you drop your stuff. You drop your issues. You say, there's a greater good here, and I'm going to achieve it. Or if you want to be Machiavellian, you can say, hey, she's doing this event that I should be in, so you know what, I'm going to hijack it for my own political good. Which means that, yes, it's self-serving, but it's that political good also happens to be the city's good, since the mayor is at the helm doing that. But she didn't do that, okay? She did not do that. The mayor didn't do that. Instead, she stayed out. The mayor stayed so silent, and her staff, that you know what they did? They didn't even bother issuing a tweet as the making of this live stream. They didn't even bother issuing a tweet to say, welcome to Oakland. You know? They didn't bother issuing one. Easy thing to do, right? Hey, welcome to Oakland, right? Welcome to Oakland. That's all you have to do. Say, welcome to Oakland. Anything you need, let us know. Why not? Why not do that? But what Libby is going to do is, or people that work for her, this is my prediction. is they're going to get the white media to basically make it look like there are other proposals out there as opposed to the one that has the officially sanctioned term sheet by the Coliseum Joint Powers Authority. They have a term sheet to assemble a team to play at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum Arena. They have a term sheet. And yet the mayor, and now they have a team owner, black and female, venture capitalist, that anyone would love to meet. But oh, not Mayor Schaaf. Oh no, not at all. Not at all. Doesn't even try, okay? Via social media. Welcome to Oakland. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's everything wrong with the current action, which is no action. And then what will come later, which is there are other proposals. If the mayor says that, the mayor needs to resign. Pronto. Because that would be tantamount to institutional racism. In other words, there are no other proposals. Really. So if Libby makes it looks like there are other proposals to basically gaslight what the African American Sports Entertainment Group has done with this owner in place. How else to see that other than being racist? And this is my friend I'm getting after, but I have a saying, friends don't let friends, I'll repeat, friends don't let friends drive drunk. Right now with this issue, that's what the mayor is doing. Driving drunk. Dropping the ball. Screwing up. I mean, think about it. In a city where even her newsletter puts out an entry mentioning the Huey P. Newton bust, which is the past, and it's, you know, it's sexy and it's part of lore, and it's the mainstream media, the way mainstream white media is covering it, to be blunt. But now that, okay, but now she does that, all right, but on the same day that the newsletter comes out, her staff can't even acknowledge Alana Beard. Doesn't see her. Doesn't retweet anything that's out there. Nothing. And I'm putting this, I'm tagging their accounts. I'm sending it out on email. I am putting it in the face of the mayor and the staff, this behavior, because it is awful. Instead, what did the mayor do? The mayor worked with a white media type to have that white media type call Major League Baseball to say, hey, what do you think of the vote by Alameda County? Well, what's the commissioner going to say? Hey, it's a nice step, but we're still looking at Vegas. Sorry. Okay? I mean, that was engineered by Libby. All right? Period. End of story. And I'm not going to believe anybody that comes along and says, well, no, it wasn't. It was. Okay? It was. Because that's how the mayor works. Because the mayor in the past would ask me to write things favorable to her, but they had to do with me being, you know, black. And I told Libby, look, I'm not that kind of person. And I was deeply disappointed she had asked me that, as opposed to seeing me the way I want to be seen, which is the truth. As an economic development expert, and as a redevelopment expert, and as the only person in Oakland's history to form a bid to bring the Super Bowl to Oakland, even though we lost to Jacksonville by 8 NFL owner votes. Okay? In other words, as I truly am, and a media owner, right? Yes, I am Oakland's first vlogger. I appreciate it when she says that. But the intellectually dangerous truth is I'm a lot more. So those of you who think oh, Zinni's just talking about how the mayor's not acknowledging him. She didn't acknowledge Alana Beard, Oakland's first Black WNBA owner, team owner. And the mayor could say, you know what, I'm going to help you with my contacts. The mayor could do that. But the mayor has just went flat. There's no good excuse for it. There's an excuse. Oh, you betcha, okay? And I deliberately echoed Sarah Palin. You betcha, okay? There is an excuse, but it's not a good one. The best way the mayor can save face is to reach out and introduce herself and then have her by the office and have a meeting and pledge her assistance. Because I don't care if we're going into Libby's last year. She doesn't want to go into her next phase of life with this kind of behavior marked on her record. And that's why I'm making this vlog. I am not letting this stand. Libby has got to act right. This is ridiculous. This is nothing short of absolutely ridiculous for the mayor of a city or town that has deep, deep markings in Black American and world culture to allow herself to be seen as Oakland's first white female mayor, and then in the next breath, literally, ignoring Oakland's first Black WNBA team owner. All right? I don't want to hear the caveats about what they're doing, because anybody who introduces them it's just gaslighting. Get out and push. Help. Because what Ray and his group have done, and I should say his movement have done, is extraordinary. No one should be threatened by that. And I get the feeling that at times the mayor is. And if the mayor isn't, she can call me, not text me, and call me and let me know. This is ridiculous. It should not stand. I repeat, we have Oakland's first white female mayor effectively turning her back on Oakland's first Black female WNBA team owner. Now, Libby is waiting. She's going to say, well, was it official? Did they actually do it? They are working out the details to get the expansion team to have that done. Period. End of story. They have had a symbiotic relationship, literally, with key executives of the WNBA for some time, in case you weren't paying attention. So what are you going to do? Try to take that away from them because you don't want them to succeed? Because, and what would that send? What kind of message would that send? Are you saying you don't want a Black group or Black people involved? Because if you act like in any way that diminishes them, even if you are Black, that's all you're doing. Because you haven't done anything, okay? You've done nothing. Join them and stop acting like the devil. That's what you have to do. And if all of this ties, to John Fisher or something that he's doing, you know what Libby could do? Turn around and say, hey, you know what? We have John Fisher involved here. He's trying to build a stadium. I'm sure he, too, would love to be involved in investing in your WNBA franchise and furthering the cause of the development of African-American team owners and making certain that Oakland is one of the first around the world. Okay? One of the first generation, to have the first generation. That's what Oakland should be about. It's called, it's called building capacity. That's what it's called, building capacity. So I'm telling you, I'm saying those media organizations out there that dare gaslight this, I'm saying to the mayor of Oakland, who needs to have her phone up, talking to Alana, and hey, you know what? Form me a press conference to introduce her and clean up the mess of not being there? Because I texted Libby. Not only did I text Libby, guess what? Prior to my texting the mayor, Councilmember Kaplan sent out a press release. I put it out immediately the day before. There's no excuse for the mayor or her staff to ignore it, because that's precisely what they did. They ignored it. So here you have the specter of a staff that is they have one black person, at least according to the website. And I remember I went to Libby's staff event a few years ago, made a video, and to my shock, I couldn't find any black men up on the riser taking the photo. 29 people. That was my first clue that so it's really something. Well, it wasn't my first clue, but it was the first one that really hit me in the face. I wanted to shake. Okay? When I worked for Elihu Harris, a union rep named Alberto Roca, great guy, had a saying. He said, Zenny, if you like what you're getting, keep on doing what you're doing. I have to ask the mayor, do you like what you're getting? Do you like being talked about in this way? Because I don't like doing it. And I don't like it when other people do it. But this is about the city. This isn't about some parlor. This isn't about some restaurant that you're running. This isn't about some airline that you're trying to build. This is about a city where you are directly responsible for thousands and thousands of lives and indirectly responsible for millions of lives. And if you don't recognize that, then we are all screwed. Libby, you gotta stop doing this stuff. You gotta stop hiring consultants. They have no idea what they're doing at all and don't reflect Oakland from a population perspective and don't know what they're doing, as is the case of Center Urban, which issued redevelopment numbers that were incorrect and gave the wrong picture of Howard Terminal. And so with all of that, you have the nerve to contact or have somebody contact the commissioner of Major League Baseball and ask him about a vote that is one step in a journey that's longer than it should have been, because your people didn't know and don't know what they are doing. And that was evident in the presentation. And don't tell me it wasn't. If you love and care about Oakland, you should be upset about this sort of thing. Because if you love and care about Oakland and you step outside and you see the mess around you, and then you don't want anyone to criticize the officials that are supposed to be fixing this, then how much do you really love your city? Or is it that you're afraid to criticize them for some reason that you haven't expressed? Look, they work for you and me. They are not above criticism. There is no excuse for the mayor of Oakland to ignore what Ray Bobbitt and his group have done. None. And it's shameful for others to assume, well, that person must be working for and all this stuff. Well, let me flip that around. Who are you working for that would pay you to gaslight the effort? Just saying, okay? All right? I mean, it's a volunteer effort, to be frank with you. Not that I feel anybody needs to know that. Who cares? All right? The real question is, why are you behaving like such a complete, small, ego dunderhead who doesn't want to see anything or anybody around you succeed in your orbit? And so you figure out something to say that diminishes what they do. Unless, of course, maybe they fit your bill of who should be doing it, like white. Something I went through when I was trying to bring Surbo to Oakland. There were people who thought someone white should be doing what I was doing. I kept telling them, hey, George Vukosin didn't want to do it, all right? And there's nobody else that had the expertise. And the NFL taught me at that time all the NFL politics I knew and how to present their bid. And I still know that. And no one else in Oakland does. All right? That's how Oakland's culture has allowed a person like me to exist, and yet not said to anybody else, hey, Zinni started sports commission. We should pick up the mantle that he assembled and build on it and work something to get the event, this event organization to bring exciting moments to Oakland, like not just Super Bowls, but Olympic trials and NCAA regionals and everything else. All the stuff that we watch on television that's happening someplace else. And we always say, gee, we wish we were there. I mean, come on. All right? Like the WNBA. What is so wrong with you all that you have to behave this way? I'm asking you. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, what is going on up here? Why do you have to be hateful of people who make an effort? And then in the next breath, you don't want to make an effort. And that's a lot of people. That even goes to Howard Terminals. People say, well, it should be in East Oakland and everything else. Okay, fine, but you know what? You never presented a plan. I did for a stadium in East Oakland. I did. It's still up there. Did you want proof? Just go to Google and type Coliseum Reboot. Come up number 1, Oakland Coliseum Reboot. It's there. The website's still active. So I have my 60 out there. Where's your little 6 pop gun? No place. But see, these folks will use social media in a second to get back and criticize and do nothing. And the mayor has her folks who do that too. Nothing. And then when it turns around to Howard Terminal because of their behavior and not wanting to acknowledge someone else, well, then they don't like it when people, nitpick about their Howard Terminal. That's the Oakland we're in. The Oakland we used to have collaborated. We had Celebrate Oakland in 1992. What was that? Celebrate Oakland was a nonprofit that gathered together all the groups and people of the city to form a giant task force around which to plan for events like All-Star games and other great fun stuff. You would think that this mayor, with so many friends of Libby like myself, would have not forgotten that and reintroduced it. Or said, hey, Zinni, you remember Celebrate Oakland? Maybe you can be involved in getting that off the ground. Sure. All right? But this mayor doesn't do that. This mayor wants to listen to little-minded people who have ridiculous views of other people because they can't do anything, or don't want to do anything themselves, and they're afraid to try. They're shaking in their boots about being left out. How else to explain why Oakland looks the way that it does? New buildings over here, tons of crap around them. Is that the Oakland you want? Well, you know what? That's the Oakland that you and I are having a hand in developing. I'm saying it just like that, putting myself in it, because I'm trying to find the magic thing to do within what I do to get the city to turn around. But we have people, we have council members who are so ego-driven that they care more about getting their picture on Instagram and Facebook than actually producing programs around AB 464 to get billions of dollars to small businesses that were negatively impacted by the pandemic and now the rains. Okay? We've got businesses in Oakland that they can't even operate their stove because their kitchens were damaged because the roof caved in. True story. All right? Where's the city? Where's the mayor? Okay? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And Libby, you have got to do better. All right? Someone said, what if she doesn't? If she doesn't, it'll be recorded. It'll be broadcasted. And I will talk about it in a way that people will understand what her administration didn't do that led to our failure, and how her administration and council members could have fixed it. That's my contribution. All right? So there. All right? So there. That's my contribution. What's yours? Do you really care about Oakland? Prove it. Meanwhile, the mayor needs to contact Ray Bobbitt, stop the politicking, and stop listening to people who said, we thought about that idea too, because as far as the WNBA, because I can prove they didn't. They were nowhere in 2014. In fact, Libby was there running for mayor, and she came to my Oakland Sports Forum and was sitting there when at-large Councilmember Rebecca Kaplan introduced the idea of bringing the WNBA to Oakland in 2014. Libby was there. I can prove she was there. I have it on video. I have thousands of video. So there's no escape, folks. And now Oakland News Now, my blog, is churning out hundreds of items of content daily with video. Automatically, the machine works. All right? But back to the main point. Libby, please, I beg of you, be the mayor we need now. Not some point in the future because your time is running out, but now. Do the right thing. Welcome Oakland's first African-American team, female WNBA team owner, and pledge your support to help her get the expansion franchise to Oakland. That's what mayors do. It's called capacity building. And rather than say, well, I'm not sure what Joe Lacob's going to do, Joe Lacob hasn't done anything, all right? Say, you know what? I'll bring you all together, and we'll make this happen. That's what mayors do. That's what mayors do. Prove you're a mayor. Do it. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com.